Tales from a Haunted Diner, Part 3, Prices to Pay. I walk my crappy little car, not that I really need to. There's nothing worth stealing in there. 2 beeps ring out into the chilly October night. The rusty Toyota Corolla has served me well over the last 5 years. 11 p.m., Wednesday, halfway through the week. Let's hope I survive until the end of it. Amy and Laura are finishing wiping down their last few tables. They give me a nod as I walk straight to the coffee machine. The bells jingle as Joanne walks in behind me. "Oh my God, what happened?" asks Amy. "My cat got a little worked up yesterday," says Joanne with a small smile. Her makeup is done, but if you look closely you can see she is covered in ghost burn scratches. They have gone purple and bubbled a bit. My own hands have done the exact same thing. The crew is starting to look a little rough. "What's wrong with it? I hate cats, little devils," says Laura. "He just doesn't like getting his nails cut, I guess. And for your information, Joey is an absolute angel." Joanne rolls her eyes a little and ties her apron. I head to the back. George jumps as I walk into the kitchen. I catch him chugging the last of a straight vodka nip. He quickly throws it in the trash. "I don't know why you even try to hide it, George. Everyone knows you're not very good at cleaning up after yourself." "It's the illusion that I feel bad about drinking on shift that matters," he says with a wink. He has a point, I guess. "We're all stocked up today, right?" "Should be. Not my problem. My shift ends now. Good night." He grins, reaching into his pocket to pull out a pack of cigarettes. He places it between his lips and lights it before he's even out the back door. Ted comes up from the basement as I'm taking out fresh ingredients for the night. "Good news. The graveyard got scrubbed clean, so everybody should be more relaxed tonight. Also, Frank is out of the hospital. He called an hour ago, said he'd be here." I shudder a little at the thought of what the diner punished Frank with. He was seriously messed up, and ghost burn doesn't age well. "Speaking of the devil," I say, as someone buzzes for the back door to open. Ted rushes over to open it. "Holy shit, Frank." Ted takes a step back. Frank almost stumbles through the door. His neck is pale and he's very sweaty. He's wearing a neck brace. His cap hides his face, and his breathing is labored. All of the skin visible is in some way touched by various degrees of ghost burn. It looks like it hurts him to breathe. He looks up, and that's when me and Ted gasp. Frank is missing an eye. The wound is messy. This was not done surgically. This was the diner's cost for missing a night of work. Me and Ted just stare as Frank stumbles over to dish station. He doesn't say a word, just labored breathing as he starts the dishwasher. He puts his headphones in and adjusts his cap to cover his face again. "Give him space. I'm going to head out. I have some paperwork to do at the office. I'll stop back around 4, says Ted. "I was planning on it." Ted heads out the back just as midnight rolls around. The front doors jingle as our first customer walks in. Hilda, back to her usual sweet self, chats Joanne's ear off. She sits in the same booth she always does, ordering her cup of tea and her extra hot muffin. I make sure it's thoroughly heated this time. She disappears as Kyle, Logan, and Morty walk in. They order coffees, taking their seats at the bar. "Good night, love," says Kyle, grinning. "You look better already," says Joanne. "A good day's rest will do that to you. Now that my grave is clean, I'm able to sleep like the dead." He gives her a wink, and Morty glares at him. Joanne ignores the flirty little remarks Kyle tosses her way. Morty, however, does not. "How are you feeling? You had that ghost burn pretty well," says Morty, gazing at her shamelessly, like a lovesick puppy. Joanne blushes a little, her cheeks turning the same red as her hair. I'm sure in another life the two would have gone on a few dates. Luckily for him, his face isn't as crushed as Kyle's or Logan's, so maybe he'll have a shot when she dies in 60 years. "I'm alright," It's a good thing this whole mess is cleared up. What can I get for you guys? The usual, says Logan. But Kyle starts to protest. Again, unless you're paying, shut up and enjoy your half-off pancakes, says Logan. We're going to have to listen to him bitch about that for the rest of eternity and still never pull out his wallet, I say, as Joanne puts the slip on the line. You got that right. She glances over at Frank and gasps under her breath. He turns around quickly. Poor thing, she mutters and heads back out front. Joanne knows the high cost of missing a night at the diner. Fortunately for me, I have always been on time. What the fuck? Comes a man's shout from out front. Even Frank looks up from his dishes. He looks at me, shrugs, and adjusts his headphones. I don't blame him. Frank has dealt with more than enough paranormal bullshit this week. He gets a pass, and I run out front. It's one of our living regulars, Trucker Dave. He's standing in the doorway, and I watch the blood drain from his face. I see Kyle, Morty, and Logan turn in their seats to face him. Oh shit. I see Kyle, Morty, and Logan. The dead are still in the diner. A living regular is still in the diner. This isn't supposed to happen. What's going on? Who are they? Dave can see them. He's shaking, and the ghostly construction crew just look at each other and shrug. Joanne, Ivy, what the hell? Shouts Dave, the red coming back into his face. Dave never seems very bright, and dim people tend to get angry when they don't understand something. Dave, calm down, it's okay, they won't hurt you, Joanne says. I pull my phone out of my pocket and text Ted. There are very few reasons to call Ted back to the diner. Ted doesn't like to be disturbed when he goes to do whatever the diner needs done on the outside. This, however, is one of Ted's specifically stated reasons to call him back. Come quick, we have both types of regulars. I shoot the text and receive an immediate response. On my way. I don't bite, gurgles Logan through crushed teeth. Dave looks at me and Joanne one more time. He notices the scars on her face. Dave, cool it, I warn, taking a step around the counter. Demons! They're demons! He steps back and runs out of the diner. Logan starts laughing so hard I see ghostly blood fly out of his mouth and onto his plate of pancakes. It's a good thing all of that will disappear when they do. If they do. What if he tells people? Asks Joanne. No one will believe him, chimes in Morty reassuringly. That's not true, says Logan. He didn't recognize me, but I used to know Dave. He has a reputation for honesty. I guess my face really is messed up. We can't risk it. The consequences are too high. Ted will handle it, I say, walking to lock the doors. The dead can still come in, but we can't risk any more normies tonight. Ted comes flying in from the back. He's so sweaty his glasses are forming condensation. Who was it? He asks, panicky. Trucker Dave, me and Joanne reply in unison. Fuck, shit, lock the doors. How long ago did he leave? Asks Ted. Only a minute ago. He might still be in the parking lot, says Joanne. Genuine fear possesses his face. Ted turns and runs outside as fast as I've ever seen him move. We all sit in silence, staring at each other. This has never happened before, whispers Joanne. She looks scared. I'm sure it will be fine. Ted's going to handle it, I say. How's he going to do that? Asks Kyle. A loud gunshot rings from the parking lot. Frank comes to the door and waves me to the back. Stay here, Joe, I say. Things are about to get ugly. Me and Frank step out the back door and into the night. Over here, says Ted. He's standing by Dave's long haul truck. He has the door open and Dave is on the floor. He has a gunshot wound to the head. Ted is holding a gun. Hell no, I say, and turn to go back inside. I don't get paid for this shit. Frank grabs my arm so hard I wince. Help out or pay the price. "We need to preserve the diner," he says in a raspy voice. Sounds like it hurts him to breathe, never mind talk. I reluctantly follow Frank back to the truck. "Get his legs," says Ted, grabbing Dave under the arms. I do as he says and we lift Dave into the passenger seat. Great, now I'm an accessory to murder. "Frank, you take care of the truck. Text me when you dump it, I'll come pick you up. Make sure it's going to blow." Frank nods. He's so casual about it, I'm starting to think there's more to Frank. It's like he's done this before. Dave was a good man. I hate that I had to do what I did, but there would be severe consequences if I didn't. Luckily, the diner gives us enough time to fix this ourselves. The amount of lives that would have been lost if a ton of normies came barging in is bad. Real bad, says Ted solemnly. He hands Frank the keys to the truck and nods at me to head inside. Ted fills 2 buckets of soapy water and hands me a sponge. "This better not bite me in the ass." "It would be a lot worse if we didn't do it. Remember that, Ivy. The veil is thinning and I'm not sure why," says Ted. Joanne pokes her head out the back door. "Sips are up," says Joanne. She is trembling and looks like she wants to puke at the sight of blood on the concrete. She does the wise thing and doesn't ask any questions. "Go handle that. I have to finish this, then go pick up Frank," says Ted. He takes out his cell phone and puts it to his ear. I listen and head straight back to the kitchen to make the several orders of toast and eggs on the board. The construction crew are gone. A few elderly dead men have taken up a booth out front and are contently chatting away. Joanne is serving them coffees with shaky hands. One of them gives her a dirty look as she overfills his cup and spills some on the table. Me and Joanne spend the next few hours scrubbing everything we can. This place has to be completely clean. Around 5 o'clock, Ted and Frank come back in. Ted gives us new uniforms to change into and takes our old clothes to burn. Someone bursts through the front door. We all gasp as a translucent, dead Trucker Dave starts looking around furiously. I hear the doors behind me swing open as Ted books it into the back. The diner allows him to leave, so he takes the advantage. I don't blame him, really. If we could dip too, we certainly would. Joanne grabs a hot pot of coffee, prepared to defend herself. She's had enough ghost burn to last a lifetime. I'm not even sure if you can fight them, but I don't want to find out right now. I glance at dead Trucker Dave, then at the clock, then at Trucker Dave again. 30 seconds until 6 a.m. Dave storms towards me angrily. "Where the hell is he? Where's Ted? I'm gonna kill..." He is abruptly cut off as the clock hits 6. Dead Dave, the old men in the corner booth, disappear. Good. My shift is over, and none of this is my problem until 11 o'clock tonight. "Good night, Joanne." "Good night, Ivy," she says, placing the coffee pot back on the burner. She breathes a deep sigh of relief as the early opening shift, Derek and Jackie, walk through the door. I can already hear Jackie mumbling about this mess. The place has been polished top to bottom. Matter of fact, it's had crime scene level cleanup, deep cleaning, and she still finds a way to complain about some dirt on top of the register. I fill up my to-go cup of coffee, grab my coat, and head straight out the back. I'm going to bed.